Good morning, students. How are you doing? I want to believe you are doing fine. All right, this morning we are going to be looking at biology, and we are not going to be discussing anything new this morning. We are just going to be doing a recap on all that we've done from week 1 to week 4. Is that all right? And this class is going to be of benefit, of our advantage to those who joined us in the middle of the course. All right, now we started this course with habitat. From habitat we went to adaptation and ecological relationship. All right, at the end of this lesson you should be able to summarize the lesson on habitat, summarize the lesson on adaptation, and summarize the lesson on ecological relationship. This is just like a summary class. Is that okay? To recap on all that we've done so far, so good. Let's make sure that you are following. Is that right? Good. Habitat. What is an habitat? Very simple. I said that habitat is the environment where living organisms live. Habitats are environments where living organisms live. Okay? That is just the simple definition about it. When we talk about living organisms, we are talking about both plants, both animals. Both plants, both animals, they have their habitats. We have desert plants, we have a lot of plants. Okay, so we are talking about environments where living organisms live. Simple, that's the definition of habitat. Now, two types of habitat we discussed, in as much that we have a lot of habitats, but the major two types of habitat we discussed for the course of this lecture, we talked about terrestrial habitat, that is habitat on land, and we talked about aquatic habitat, habitat in the river bodies or around the river bodies. Okay, habitat associated with the water bodies, that is habitat. That is aquatic habitat. So terrestrial habitat, aquatic habitat. Good. So we gave some examples of animals that live on different habitats. Terrestrial habitat, of course, you know yourself, man is a terrestrial animal because he lives on the terrestrial habitat. Okay? Dog, goat, and so on. When you come to the aquatic habitat, we talked about fish. Animals that live in water, fish, different kinds of fish, crocodile, and so on and so forth. And I believe I even gave you an assignment, and I think you did some stuffs for me, which most of you did very well, and so on. So that's that for habitat, and we move to adaptation. And we said adaptation simply means changes that occur in living organism to be able to live successfully in its habitat. Changes or adjustments that occurs in a living organism to help him live successfully in its habitat. And we talked about types of adaptation. We said structural, physiological, behavioral. Those were the three major types of adaptation we pointed. And we said structural adaptation has to do with changes in the physical body of an animal or an organism that helps it to live successfully in its habitat. Physiological adaptation, we say internal changes in the living organism that help it to live successfully in its habitat. We talk about behavioral adaptation from the name behavior. Now we're talking about the behavior, okay? The behavior or the behavioral changes that occurs in organism that makes it live successfully in its habitat. Is that right? Okay, and we move ahead to talk about adaptive features of some animals. We talked about fish. We say fish, they have gills that help them to breathe. they have streamlined bodies. Streamlined bodies, the curved nature of their body, the curved shape of their body, fishes, that help them swim easily. Okay, we talked about their tails, their fins, the dorsal fin and tail fins, and so on and so forth, that help them to also swim. Okay, so these are most of the features of adaptive features of a fish. Okay, we talked about streamlined bodies, we talked about gills, and so on and so forth. Their fins. Is that okay? Okay, then we also talked about adaptive features of a lot of animals. We talked about that of toad. We talked about that of frog. We talked about that of which other animal did we discuss? Desert animals. What makes them live comfortably, successfully in the desert? And we talked about that they have homes, like the camel, because desert is where there is lack of water, sufficient water and food. So they have homes, like a hunchback behind, that helps them in storing water and food for a long period of time. We gave example camel, and I gave you some assignment. I say give me forest forest animals, give me desert animals, and so on. And I even told you to give me an adaptive features of man. Most of you did not do that assignment very well. Adaptive features of man. Adaptive features of man. Many of you were giving me plenty things I don't understand. When I ask of adaptive features of man, I'm saying, what are those things men or human being possesses that aids him to be able to live successfully in its habitat? You should be giving me possession of lungs for breathing. Lungs is one of the respiratory organs that helps in breathing. Lungs, just as gills for fishes, lungs for humans. Okay? Then you should also give me things like limbs. They have limbs for movement. He aids them in movement. Okay? He aids them in what? In movement. Now they have upright shape. Like you can see, I'm sitting upright. I can move upright, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things that help man to survive in its habitat. They possess skin. What is the skin used for? For protection. For protection. Okay? Hairs. Hairs is also there. We have hairs to keep us warm. Hairs help us to do what? To stay warm. To stay warm. That's the essence of the hairs in our body. Okay? Skin for protection. Feet, we have feet to help us run. To help us run when we see a predator. A predator is a bigger animal coming to feed on us or destroy us or something, like a lion, elephant. We use our feet in running. So these are things that we possess that helps us to stay fit in our habitat. Okay. We talked about, I think this was the last topic, ecological relationship. Yeah, ecological relationship. In as much that I started a new topic with you yesterday, I think we started something new yesterday. We talked about uniqueness of man yesterday, okay, but it's not here in this work. So, ecological relationship simply means relationship between organisms and its environment. Relationship between organism and its environment. Relationship or interaction between organism and its environment. And we discuss food chain as one of the examples of ecological relationship. And we say food chain has to do with a linear process whereby animals get energy and nutrients from feeding on one another. And we explain the trophic level of food chain. I'm just doing a recap. I'm not teaching. I'm just doing a revisitation on all that we've done before. So I've explained. If you want more detailed explanation, you check on the YouTube and fetch the video where we've discussed all these things before now. Okay? So we discussed the trophic level of food chain. It's just a revision I'm doing. We have a lot of trophic levels, but we talk about the first major four: producers, the primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. And we say the producers are the startup of a food chain. They are the initiators of the food chain. Then the primary consumers that feed on the producers. The secondary consumers feed on the primary consumers. The tertiary consumers feed on the secondary consumers. We also say that producers are autotrophs. Autotrophs, so I've moved to number 4 now. Autotrophs are organisms that provide their food in the presence of light. We have green leaves, algae, and so on. Plants. So herbivores are primary consumers. Herbivores feed directly on the autotrophs. Herbivores feed directly on the producers. These are organisms. Herbivores are organisms that feed on green plants. Now, omnivores are secondary consumers, which feed on both animal sources and plants. So we eat vegetables, of course. We eat vegetables, we eat plant produce, and so on. And we also eat animal produce, like the meat, goat meat, chicken meat, egg. So we eat animal produce, we also eat plant produce. That is omnivores, which are secondary consumers. Tertiary consumers feed on the secondary consumers. Tertiary consumers feed on the secondary consumers, which are called carnivores. Carnivores are the tertiary consumers. They are flesh eaters. They eat other animals. These are animals that eat other animals, or omnivores. They eat both. They eat other animals. So they eat even carnivores. They eat even omnivores. They even eat herbivores. So they eat other animals. They eat different kinds of animals. They eat flesh. They are carnivorous animals. So we gave examples of animals in the different trophic levels. And I even gave you an assignment. I said, give me 10 animals, give me 10 organisms that are in the 4 different trophic levels, and most of you did very, very well. Carnivores, you have things like lion and so on, leopard, tiger. Most of forest animals are carnivorous animals, most of them. All right? Omnivores, you have man. Herbivores, you have things like dog, you have things like goats, chicken. These are animals that eat plants produce. Herbivores, okay, I'm talking about herbivores. Yes, herbivores are animals that eat plants rather. So we have goats. All right, we have goats. We have cows. We have chicken. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of it. All right. So we also gave, okay, I've discussed that, examples of animals in the 3 different trophic levels. All right, so this is just a kind of revision or a kind of summary on all that we've done. Go back to it, look at it very well, revisit it, and get more clarity on it. Is that right? All right, we are going to see next week. And okay, for yesterday, let me throw more light on yesterday's topic. We discussed uniqueness of man. The uniqueness of man. And we said that uniqueness simply means to be special, one of its kind, okay, to be unmatched and unequal. So we are saying that man as an animal, though a higher animal, what is that distinctive features that it has that makes it different from every other animal? And we began to talk about reasoning, to be able to think in a logical manner, ability to solve problems, clothing. Of course, you know, man is the only animal that wears clothes. Okay. Now, long childhood, and I said from 0 to 18 years of being under parenthood, parental guide. No other animal undergoes long childhood. And so many, and I talked about speech too. Like, I can talk to you fluently, you can talk to me well, you can hear me, I can hear you very sound. So these are the characters that a man possesses that another animal cannot possess, does not possess. That is why we say that we are of a higher mammal or primates. So we are unique compared to other animals. That was what we discussed yesterday. So next week we shall go into something different. So I have an assignment for you. Now, next week we shall be discussing growth and development. By next week, we'll be discussing growth and development. So this is your assignment, because I need you to be ahead of me, your teacher. I want you, the student, to be ahead of me. So this is the topic for next week, growth and development. So you are going to write on growth and development as your assignment, number 1. Number 2, give me similarities between growth and development. What are the common traits? What are the common features and characters? What is the similar lining between growth and development? If you give me the similarities, you also give me differences as number 3. Differences between growth and development. What is different? What can you see here and you cannot see in this one? That's the meaning of difference. Why similarities is what you can see here, you can also see here. So work on these 3 assignments for me. You know my WhatsApp number already. You've been posting other assignments for me. So send it to my WhatsApp number. I'm going to mark it and I'm going to grade you. Is that fine? Take all my assignments very, very seriously. Alright, till I come your way again next week, I'm still your biology teacher, Mr. Evans Olise. God bless you. Stay home, stay safe till we meet.